I always thought I was good at ignoring the little cuts, the casual dismissals, the way my sister's achievements got framed photos while mine collected dust in drawers. But watching my mother carefully arrange my entire family for yet another spontaneous group photo while I stood forgotten behind the camera, that cut went deeper than usual. My name is Eleanor, and I've spent 29 years being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who makes sure the bills get paid while my younger sister Evangeline collects Instagram followers and my parents pretend we're the perfect suburban success story. "Eleanor, honey, could you adjust the lighting a bit?" Mom called out, fussing with Evangeline's hair. "The shadows are all wrong." I shifted the lamp, watching them through my phone screen. Dad had his arm around Mom, both beaming. Evangeline posed in the center, radiant in a dress that probably cost more than my monthly rent. A dress I probably helped pay for, if I'm being honest. "Perfect!" Mom exclaimed. "This will look wonderful in the family album." "Should I set the timer and join?" I asked, already knowing the answer. "Oh, we've got enough now. Besides, you're still in your work clothes." Right. My sensible blazer and slacks wouldn't match their coordinated pastels. I tucked my phone away, swallowing the familiar sting. Later that evening, I came home early from work, planning to grab some files I'd forgotten. Their voices drifted from the kitchen. They hadn't heard me come in. "The cruise package includes 5-star dining," Evangeline was saying. "Mom, you'll love it. They even have those cooking classes you wanted to try." My steps slowed. "Cruise? It's a bit expensive," Dad hedged, "but the family account should cover it." "Of course it will," Mom replied. "Eleanor's been adding her bonus checks. We have plenty." I froze in the hallway, my hand gripping the doorframe. The family account. The one I'd been faithfully depositing into since my first job. The one that paid for Evangeline's failed startup, Dad's unemployment gap, Mom's dental work. The one they'd never once thanked me for maintaining. "When should we tell Eleanor?" Dad asked. There was a pause. I held my breath. "Do we have to?" Evangeline sighed. "She'll just make it weird. You know how she gets about money." "She's not really the vacation type anyway," Mom added. "Always working. Besides, this is meant to be fun, light. Eleanor's energy lately has been so heavy." I backed away silently, my chest tight. Heavy. That's what they called responsibility, reliability, adult fucking behavior. I drove to my friend Talia's apartment, my hands shaking on the steering wheel. She took one look at my face and poured wine without asking. "They're planning a cruise," I said, dropping onto her couch. "Using my money. They didn't even consider inviting me." "Jesus," Talia muttered. "That's next level, even for them." "I should confront them," I said, but the words felt hollow. "Tell them how I feel." "Because that worked so well the last dozen times?" Talia raised an eyebrow. "Face it, Elle. They'll just gaslight you again. Turn it around so somehow you're the problem." She wasn't wrong. I'd tried honest conversations before. They always ended with me apologizing somehow, wondering if maybe I was the crazy one. When I got home, Mom was alone in the kitchen. I decided to test the waters. "Hey, Mom, I heard something about a cruise earlier." She stiffened slightly, then continued washing dishes. "Oh, you heard about that?" "Yeah, sounds fun. When is it?" She turned, drying her hands slowly. Her face had that practiced neutral expression I knew too well. "Eleanor, honey, it's really just for those who bring joy to the family. You wouldn't have fun anyway." Joy. The word echoed in my head as I climbed the stairs to my room. Joy. Not the kind that comes from keeping the lights on, apparently. Not the kind that makes sure everyone's medical bills get paid. Not the reliable, practical kind of joy that's held this family together for years. I opened my laptop and logged into the family account. The cruise payment was pending, $12,000 for 3 people. First class, everything. My money, funding their celebration of excluding me. Something shifted inside me then. A lifetime of being the responsible one, the understanding one, the one who always forgave, It all crystallized into something harder, colder. I opened a new tab and started researching how to open a private savings account. The bank statement spread across my kitchen table told a story, one I should have read years ago. Each page was another chapter in my family's creative accounting, their financial sleight of hand. "Look at this," I said to Talia, pointing at a series of transfers. $3,000 to Evangeline's business coaching program, $2,000 for Mom's spa retreat, another $4,000 for Dad's golf club membership, all in the last 6 months. Talia leaned over my shoulder, coffee mug in hand. "And how much did they contribute?" "Dad puts in his pension, about $800 monthly. Mom adds maybe $200 from her part-time work." "Evangeline?" I laughed bitterly. "She hasn't deposited a dime since 2019. "While you've been putting in how much?" I pulled up my salary deposits. "About 60% of my income, plus bonuses. You know what this is, right?" Talia set down her mug hard enough to slosh coffee onto the statements. "This isn't a family, it's a con. You're the mark." My phone buzzed, another group text from Mom about cruise preparations. They were coordinating matching outfits now. "I should just tell them I know," I said, reaching for my phone. Talia snatched it away. "And let them spin this? Please. They'll have you apologizing for making them feel bad about stealing from you." She wasn't wrong. I could already hear Mom's voice. "How could you accuse us of such things after everything we've done for you?" I needed expert advice. Someone who understood money and wouldn't let emotions cloud the issue. I scrolled through my contacts and landed on Zachary, my ex who worked in finance. We'd stayed friendly, mostly because he was too logical for drama. He agreed to meet me for lunch. "Legally, it's straightforward," Zachary said, studying the account details on my laptop. "Your name's primary on the account. You can withdraw everything without notice." "They'd lose their minds," I said. "They're already spending your money without notice." He looked up. "The real question is, what's stopping you?" I stirred my untouched coffee. "They're family. Family doesn't drain your account for a vacation you're explicitly uninvited from." He turned the laptop toward me. "Look at the numbers, Eleanor, not the emotions. What would you tell a client in this situation?" I stared at the screen, at years of systematic exploitation laid bare in neat columns and rows. "I'd tell them they're being financially abused." "Exactly." He closed the laptop. "So stop being the client who won't take good advice." That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about all the times I'd needed help. When my car broke down and I had to take the bus for 3 months because the family account was tight right after funding Evangeline's yoga teacher training. When I wanted to take that writing course, but couldn't afford it because Mom needed new kitchen cabinets. My phone lit up with a text from Evangeline. "Found the perfect matching swimsuits for me and Mom. Can you transfer an extra $300 to the account? Thanks, sis." I got out of bed and opened my laptop. The family account login page stared back at me. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. "What brings joy to the family?" I whispered Mom's words. Then I started typing. First, I created a new personal account at a different bank. Next, I documented every major withdrawal they'd made in the past year. Evidence, just in case. Finally, I initiated the transfer. Everything except 327R. A petty detail, but it felt right. My phone started ringing almost immediately. "Mom," I declined the call. Then Dad. Declined. Evangeline. Declined. The texts started flooding in. "Mom, there must be some mistake with the account. Call me immediately." "Dad, the bank shows almost no balance. What's going on?" Evangeline, "WTF, Eleanor! The payment for our cruise is pending." I turned off my phone and poured myself a glass of wine. For the first time in years, I felt light, the kind of light that comes from setting down a burden you never should have carried. The next morning, I had 17 missed calls and 43 texts. I ignored them all and called Zachary instead. "It's done," I said, "but they're blowing up my phone." "Block them," he said simply. "And Eleanor, Call the cruise line. I have an idea that might make this even more interesting. What kind of idea? The kind that ensures they remember this lesson. I could hear him smiling. How do you feel about making a few arrangements with the cruise manager? I thought about Mom's practiced dismissals, Evangeline's casual demands, Dad's willing blindness, years of being the family ATM while they played at being the perfect family without me. Give me the number, I said. I'm feeling pretty creative. Miss Cooper? Eduardo, the cruise line manager, sounded intrigued over the phone. Let me make sure I understand. You want to ensure your family's payment fails at check-in specifically? Exactly, I said, pacing my living room, and I'd like them to learn about it in the most public way possible. Normally we'd process the payment rejection privately, but... He paused. Given the circumstances you've described, I might be able to arrange something special. While Eduardo worked his magic, I dealt with the fallout at home. Mom had progressed from angry texts to showing up at my workplace. I watched through my office window as security politely turned her away. You can't hide forever, read her latest text. We're family. You owe us an explanation. I typed back, check the account history for the last 5 years. There's your explanation. My phone rang immediately. I let it go to voicemail. You're really doing this? Zachary asked over lunch. No second thoughts? I showed him my phone. 37 missed calls since morning. They're not calling because they miss me. They're calling because their ATM stopped working. Fair point. He studied some documents on his tablet. I've reviewed everything. The transfer was completely legal. They can't touch the money. They'll try anyway. Let them. He smiled grimly. Your mother's threats about lawyers? Empty. She'd have to explain to a judge why she thinks she's entitled to your earnings. A text from Evangeline popped up. Mom's crying because of you. Hope you're happy being such a selfish bitch. I showed it to Zachary. Funny how I'm selfish for keeping my own money, but they weren't selfish for excluding me from a vacation bought with my money. Speaking of the vacation, he checked his watch. Eduardo should be calling soon with the final arrangements. Right on cue, my phone rang. Eduardo's name flashed on the screen. Everything's set, he said. When they arrive for check-in, their cards will be declined, publicly. I've arranged for them to be directed to our most visible counter. And the refund policy? Non-refundable, as requested. They'd need the account holder's permission for any exception. He chuckled. Which would be you. I thanked him and hung up, feeling a strange mix of satisfaction and nausea. Having regrets? Zachary asked. No. I straightened my shoulders, just wondering why it took me so long. That evening, Talia came over with wine and takeout. We were halfway through dinner when someone started pounding on my door. Eleanor, Dad's voice. We know you're in there. We need to talk. Talia grabbed my arm as I instinctively stood up. Don't you dare open that door. Eleanor, please, Mom now. Whatever we did, we can fix this. I walked to the door but didn't open it. Whatever you did, you really don't know? Honey, if this is about the cruise, it's about everything. My voice cracked. Every time you took without asking. Every time you excluded me but expected me to pay. Every single time you treated me like a bank instead of a daughter. Silence. Then Evangeline's voice, dripping with venom. You're just jealous because everyone likes me better. I laughed, a real, genuine laugh. You know what, Evangeline? You're right. Everyone does like you better, but I'm the one they needed, and now you all get to learn the difference. We're your family, Mom again, desperate now. You can't just... Family? I pressed my hand against the door. Family doesn't treat family like an ATM. Family doesn't exclude family from celebrations bought with their own money. Family doesn't tell their daughter she doesn't bring enough joy while spending her savings. More pounding, more protests. I turned away from the door. The cruise leaves in 3 days, I said loudly, Better start figuring out how to pay for it without my money. The pounding eventually stopped. Talia handed me a fresh glass of wine. You okay? I checked my phone. The cruise payment had just tried to process and failed, right on schedule. I'm better than okay, I said. I'm free. My phone buzzed with a text from Eduardo. Payment declined. They'll receive the official notification tomorrow. Still want me to save the security footage from check-in? I typed back, yes, every second. Talia raised her glass. To freedom. I clinked my glass against hers, imagining my family's faces when they realized their perfect vacation was about to become a very public nightmare. To consequences, I corrected, and to finally bringing the right kind of joy to this family. The cafe across from the cruise terminal had excellent Wi-Fi and an even better view. I sipped my latte, watching the security feed Eduardo had patched through to my laptop. Talia sat beside me, practically vibrating with anticipation. There they are, she whispered, pointing through the window. My family walked toward the terminal entrance, matching Cooper family vibes shirts, practically glowing in the morning sun. Mom had even coordinated their luggage, all baby blue with white trim. Picture perfect, as always. God, those shirts are tragic, Talia muttered. Wait for it, I said, switching between security camera angles on my laptop. Eduardo put them at counter 3, right in the main thoroughfare. We watched them approach the counter, Evangeline already filming with her phone, probably planning another Blessed Family Moments post for her Instagram. Good morning, Eduardo's voice came clearly through my earpiece. Welcome to Royal Caribbean. Checking in for the Paradise Explorer? Yes, Mom said, beaming. The Cooper family. 3 passengers. Eduardo typed dramatically. Ah, yes, I see your reservation. If I could just have your payment card for the final processing. Dad handed over their joint credit card with his usual confident flourish. Eduardo swiped it. The terminal beeped red. I'm sorry, sir. It seems there's a problem with this card. Would you like to try another? Mom frowned, digging in her designer purse. Try this one. Another swipe. Another red light. That's impossible, Mom said, voice rising slightly. We had the funds confirmed last week. Let me check the reservation details, Eduardo said, making a show of typing. Ah, I see the issue. The account linked to your booking shows insufficient funds. The pending payment was rejected. Evangeline stopped filming. What do you mean rejected? Eleanor's account always has money. Eleanor? Eduardo raised an eyebrow perfectly. Would that be Eleanor Cooper? Yes, I see here she's listed as the primary account holder. She's my daughter, Mom said quickly. There must be some mistake. Call her. I've been trying, Dad muttered, phone to his ear. She's not answering. Other passengers were starting to notice the commotion. A few had their phones out recording. This is ridiculous, Evangeline's voice carried across the terminal. She can't do this to us. We're her family. I understand this is frustrating, Eduardo said smoothly. Unfortunately, without payment or the primary account holder's authorization, I cannot process your boarding. But our luggage, Mom's composure was cracking. Our reservations. We planned everything. The cruise is fully booked, Eduardo continued, and as per policy, these bookings are non-refundable without the primary account holder's approval. That bitch, Evangeline spat. She's just jealous because she's a pathetic workaholic with no life. A jealous parasite who... Volume, please, Eduardo cut in. There are other guests. Those other guests were definitely watching now. Someone whispered family drama loud enough to carry. Another mentioned TikTok. Try Eleanor again, Mom demanded, her perfect makeup starting to smudge. Dad's call went straight to voicemail. They could hear my automated message. I'm unavailable right now. If this is about the family account, please check your transaction history for the past 5 years. If this is about the cruise, please contact your booking agent. She planned this, Dad said slowly. She actually planned this. Of course she planned it, Evangeline shrieked. She's always been jealous of me, of us. She's probably watching right now, laughing at us. She wasn't wrong. I was laughing, but not for the reasons she thought. Should we try to book something else? Dad asked weakly. With what money? Mom snapped. She took everything. Actually, Eduardo interjected, according to our records, she left exactly $327 in the account. Talia choked on her coffee beside me. That's just evil. I love it. We watched them argue for another 20 minutes. Mom tried bargaining. Dad looked defeated, and Evangeline alternated between crying and threatening legal action. Finally, they gathered their coordinated luggage and slunk toward the exit. Wait, Eduardo called after them. Would you like me to cancel your shore excursions and dinner reservations as well? They were separately charged to Miss Eleanor's credit card. Mom's face went pale. She paid for those too? Oh, yes. The spa package, cooking class, wine tasting. Quite generous of her, really. Evangeline let out a sound somewhere between a scream and a sob. Several people definitely had their phones out now. Send me that security footage, I texted Eduardo. Every angle. Already done, he replied. Best drama we've had at check-in all year. I closed my laptop and finished my latte, watching my family pile into their taxi. Matching shirts, matching luggage, matching expressions of rage and humiliation. Think they learned their lesson? Talia asked. Probably not, I said, but at least they paid for it this time. The video of my family's meltdown hit social media faster than I expected. By evening, Santa Cruz karma was trending locally, with people sharing their own stories of entitled relatives. You're famous, Zachary texted, linking to a Reddit thread. They're calling you the Queen of Justified Revenge. I was about to respond when my phone lit up with Mom's latest voicemail. How dare you humiliate us like this? After everything we've done for you, we won't forget this betrayal. Everything they'd done for me. Right. Like the time I was 16 and Evangeline decided she wanted my room because it had better lighting for her videos. Just temporarily, Mom had said, until we renovate the guest room. That renovation never happened. My things ended up in boxes in the basement, and I spent 2 years in what was basically a storage closet. Meanwhile, Evangeline painted my old walls pink and started her first lifestyle blog. Or when Evangeline got that DUI at 20. Eleanor, please, Dad had begged. She can't have this on her record. It would ruin her influencer career before it starts. So I emptied my savings, meant for a writing course I'd been dreaming about, to pay for her lawyer. She never even said thank you. Just posted about growing through challenges and tagged it, oh, blessed. My phone buzzed again. A text from Dad. Your mother's crying. Is that what you wanted? I started typing. Was I crying when you... But deleted it. No point engaging. Instead, I opened my laptop and checked my new account balance. The money I'd transferred sat there safely, no longer bleeding away to fund someone else's dreams. Talia called around midnight. Have you seen Evangeline's latest post? I pulled up Instagram. There she was, mascara artfully smeared, looking soulfully at the camera. Family is complicated. Today, we experienced a betrayal from someone we trusted, someone whose bitterness and jealousy finally showed its true face. But we rise above. We choose love. Family first. Toxic people. Healing. The comments were not what she expected. Didn't you use her money for a cruise she wasn't invited to? Queen behavior is paying your own bills, sis. Team Eleanor, all the way. I closed the app, feeling oddly empty. This was the justice I'd wanted, wasn't it? My doorbell rang. I checked the camera. It was Louis, my dad's older brother. I know you're in there, kid, he called out. Not here to fight, just to talk. I opened the door. Uncle Louis looked tired. Can I come in? I stepped aside. He settled onto my couch, looking around at the apartment he'd never visited before. "Nice place," he said. "You paid for this yourself, didn't you?" I nodded. "Your dad called me, told me what happened." He sighed. "He's angry, humiliated. But you know what he didn't say? That he was surprised." "What do you mean?" "He knew, Eleanor. Deep down, he knew this was coming. Hell, we all did. You were always too good for the role they cast you in." "Then why didn't anyone say anything?" "Because it was convenient." He met my eyes. "It's easier to take advantage of the reliable one than admit you're being unfair. I watched them do it for years. Should have spoken up." My phone buzzed. Another family member calling to berate me, probably. I ignored it. "They'll never forgive me for this," I said. "Maybe not." Lewis stood up. "But forgiveness isn't always the point. Sometimes the point is finally forgiving yourself for not standing up sooner." After he left, I sat in my quiet apartment, thinking about all the times I'd swallowed my anger, all the times I'd told myself that family meant accepting whatever they dished out. My phone lit up with a notification, a new email from Dad, subject line, "Draft, delete later." I almost deleted it unread, but something made me open it. "Eleanor, I'm not sending this. I'll probably delete it, but I need to write it. I failed you. I watched your mother and sister drain you dry, emotionally and financially. I let it happen because it was easier than standing up to them, than standing up for you. You were always the strong one, the good one. We took advantage of that, used your strength as an excuse to keep taking. I'm sorry, not for today. You were right about that. I'm sorry for all the days before, for every time I chose peace over justice, for every time I let you carry us while we celebrated without you. You deserved better. Dad?" I closed the email, tears finally falling. Then I deleted it, just as he would. Some apologies aren't meant to be answered. Some debts can never be repaid. And some lessons, I thought, as another angry text lit up my phone, have to be learned the hard way. 1 week after the cruise fiasco, I booked myself a small beach cottage along the same coastline they'd planned to visit. A quiet place with a porch overlooking the ocean. No family drama, no matching outfits, no performative social media posts. "You're really doing this?" Talia asked, helping me pack. "Taking a vacation right after blowing up their vacation?" "Poetic justice," I said, folding a simple sundress. "Besides, it's my money. Might as well enjoy it." My phone buzzed. Another Instagram notification. Evangeline had been busy damage controlling her image. Her latest post showed her meditating in designer yoga wear. Sometimes the universe has other plans. Trust the journey. Boundaries, just self-care, toxic family. "She's really rebranding herself as the victim," Talia snorted. "Let her." I closed my suitcase. I'm done playing that game. But karma wasn't done playing with us. The next morning, as I was loading my car, Zachary called. "Turn on the local news," he said without greeting. "Channel 7. I pulled up the stream on my phone. There was Dad, looking shell-shocked outside his office building. The headline crawled across the bottom. "Local executive's job offer rescinded after viral video." "The cruise video," I whispered. "Apparently, the company felt he didn't align with their values," Zachary said. "Something about financial responsibility and family ethics." I sat heavily on my front steps. "I didn't mean for that to happen." "No?" His voice was gentle but firm. "What did you think would happen when the video went viral? Actions have consequences, Eleanor, even justified ones." Mom's text arrived minutes later. "Are you happy now? Your father lost his job opportunity because of your little stunt. I hope you're proud of yourself." I wasn't proud, but I wasn't guilty either. They'd chosen to make a scene. They'd chosen to berate me publicly. They'd chosen everything that led to this moment. My phone rang. A number I didn't recognize. "Is this Eleanor Cooper?" a woman's voice asked. "This is Sandra from the Daily Post. We're doing a feature on toxic family dynamics and financial abuse. Would you be interested in sharing your story? I hung up. 3 more reporters called before I reached the beach. The cottage was exactly what I needed. Simple, peaceful, anonymous. I spent the first day walking along the shore, watching waves instead of social media notifications. That evening, sitting on the porch with a glass of wine, my laptop dinged with an email from Evangeline's old college roommate, Maria. Hey, Eleanor. You don't know me well, but I lived with your sister for 2 years. I saw how they treated you, how they'd call you for money, then mock you behind your back. Evangeline used to brag about how she could always get you to pay for things. I should have said something then. I'm saying it now. You did the right thing. P.S. That business coaching program she made you fund? It was actually a luxury spa retreat in Bali. Thought you should know. I closed the laptop, letting the ocean breeze cool my burning cheeks. Of course it was. Of course. My phone lit up, Talia sending me a link. You need to see this. It was a GoFundMe page. Help the Cooper family recover from financial abuse. The title read. Mom's work, obviously. The description painted me as a manipulative daughter who'd stolen their money and ruined their lives. They'd raised $47 so far. The comments, though, told a different story. Didn't you use her money without permission? Pay your own bills! Where's the GoFundMe for all the money you took from Eleanor? I was about to close the page when a new comment appeared, from Uncle Lewis. As a family member who witnessed this situation firsthand, let me be clear, Eleanor didn't steal anything. She simply stopped letting you steal from her. Shame on you for this manipulative attempt to play victim. The page was taken down an hour later. I poured another glass of wine and watched the sunset, thinking about consequences, about how every action creates ripples we can't control. Dad's lost job, Mom's failed fundraiser, Evangeline's damaged brand. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Talia. You wanted karmic balance, but karma doesn't stop spinning just because you stepped off the wheel. She was right. I'd wanted justice, but justice isn't always clean. Sometimes it takes things we didn't mean to sacrifice. Sometimes it changes everyone involved. I turned off my phone and listened to the waves, remembering Dad's unsent email. Some lessons have to be learned the hard way. Maybe that was true for all of us. Tomorrow would bring new consequences, new attempts at manipulation, new challenges to my resolve. But tonight, I had peace. And for the first time in years, I didn't owe anyone an explanation for it. The legal notice arrived 3 days after I returned from the beach. Mom was suing me for fraudulent withdrawal and emotional distress. I took it straight to Diana, a lawyer Zachary recommended. Diana adjusted her glasses, scanning the document. Well, it's creative, I'll give them that. Can they win? Win? She laughed. They can't even get past the first hearing. You were the primary account holder. Every withdrawal was legal. Every deposit trail shows it was primarily your money. She set down the papers. This is just harassment dressed up in legal letterhead. I slumped in relief. So what do? We respond with this. She slid a document across her desk. A cease and desist order. Any further contact from them will be considered harassment. As I signed the papers, my phone lit up with a text from Evangeline. Mom's having anxiety attacks because of you. Hope you're happy with yourself, you heartless bitch. I showed Diana the message. She added it to her file without comment. The cease and desist letters went out that afternoon. By evening, my social media was flooded with flying monkeys, distant relatives and family friends I barely knew, all suddenly experts on my character. Your poor mother is devastated. How could you do this to your own family? You'll regret this when they're gone. I blocked them all. Talia came over with pizza and wine. How are you holding up? I'm fine, I said automatically. Bullshit. She poured generous glasses. You're allowed to be not fine, you know. Before I could respond, my laptop pinged. A new email from Dad, but this one wasn't marked for deletion. Eleanor, the lawyer served us your cease and desist order today. Your mother's hysterical. Evangeline's talking about changing her last name. Everything's falling apart. But here's what I can't stop thinking about. The day you graduated college, you got that job offer in London. Prestigious firm, great salary, a chance to start fresh. But you turned it down because your mother said she needed you here, said family should stay together. I watched you fold that acceptance letter and never mention it again. Watched you take that local job instead, the one that paid less, but let you keep supporting us. Watched you shrink yourself to fit the box we built around you. I should have told you to go, should have pushed you toward that bigger life instead of helping them clip your wings. The money isn't why your mother's crying. She's crying because she finally has to face what we did to you, what we took from you, not just money, dreams, opportunities, the right to put yourself first. I found your old acceptance letter yesterday buried in my desk. I'm attaching it to this email. The company still has offices in London. It's too late for us to be the family you deserved, but it's not too late for you to be the person you were meant to be. I'm sorry for everything, Dad. I stared at the screen, tears blurring my vision. The attachment was there, that long-ago letter offering me everything I'd wanted. You okay? Talia asked softly. No. I wiped my eyes. But maybe that's okay. My phone buzzed. Mom, trying to call despite the cease and desist. I declined it. What are you thinking? Talia watched me open my laptop. I pulled up the website for that London firm. I'm thinking it's time to see if they're still hiring. Seriously? You'd move to London? Why not? I looked around my apartment, at all the careful compromises I'd made to stay close to people who'd never really wanted me, just what I could give them. There's nothing holding me here anymore. What about your job, your apartment, me? You can visit. I started typing an email to their HR department. And maybe it's time I stopped building my life around other people's convenience. Talia raised her glass. To new beginnings? To old dreams, I corrected. The ones I should have chased years ago. I finished the email and hit send before I could second-guess myself. Then I opened Dad's email one last time, hovering over the reply button. But what would I say? Thank you for finally seeing me? Too late for finally standing up? Sorry for not being sorry? Instead, I clicked delete. Some conversations are better left unspoken. Some bridges need to stay burned. My phone buzzed again. A text from Uncle Lewis. Whatever you're planning, kid, do it. Don't let guilt clip your wings twice. I smiled and started researching flights to London. It was time to find out who I could be without the weight of their expectations, without the burden of being everyone's safety net but my own. Sometimes the best revenge isn't making others hurt. It's finally allowing yourself to heal. The London job offer arrived on the same morning I closed on my apartment sale. I sat in my half-packed living room, staring at 2 emails that represented everything changing at once. When's your flight? Talia asked, taping up another box. 2 weeks. I showed her the offer letter. They want me to start the financial literacy program as soon as possible. Teaching people how to protect their money? She smirked. Fitting. My phone buzzed, a news alert. Evangeline had finally rebranded herself Gratitude and Growth Coach. Her latest post showed her in meditation pose. Sometimes those who hurt us become our greatest teachers. Blessed Chong forgiveness, jig abundance. The comments were ruthless. Is this the same sister who stole your money? Girl, you were the toxic one. Team Eleanor forever. I closed the app and went back to packing. In the bottom drawer of my desk, I found the old family photo albums Mom used to curate so carefully. The perfect family narrative, documented in carefully staged shots. What should I do with these? I held them up. Burn them? No. I pulled out my favorite photo, baby Eleanor with Dad at the park, both of us laughing at something off camera. I'll keep this one, donate the rest. The doorbell rang. Uncle Lewis stood outside with a small package. Found this in your dad's study, he said, handing it to me. Thought you should have it before you go. Inside was my old piggy bank from childhood, The one Dad helped me paint with clumsy flowers. A note fell out. Your first lesson in saving. I should have taught you to save yourself too. Dad? He's not doing well, Louis said quietly. The job thing hit him hard. I know. I set the piggy bank aside, but I can't fix that anymore. No, he agreed. That's his journey now. My phone lit up with a text from Zachary. Turn on the local news. Mom was being interviewed outside her favorite charity organization. They'd removed her from the board after the viral video scandal. I've learned valuable lessons, she was saying, dabbing at dry eyes. About family, about forgiveness. I turned it off. Still no regrets? Talia asked. About the money? No. I picked up the piggy bank again. About the time I wasted trying to buy their love? Maybe. The next week flew by in a blur of packing and paperwork. On my last night in town, I had dinner with Zachary and Talia at our favorite restaurant. To Eleanor, Zachary raised his glass, who finally learned to invest in herself. To Karma, Talia added, may it keep doing its thing. My phone buzzed. Evangeline had tagged me in a post, missing my sister, hoping time heals all wounds. Family. I blocked her account. You know they'll try to contact you in London, Talia said. They can try. I showed them my new phone. New number, new email, new life. What about the money? Zachary asked. The account? I smiled. I donated most of it. Started a foundation for young adults escaping financial abuse. Seems appropriate. And the rest? Bought myself a dream. I pulled out my laptop, showing them the small flat I'd leased in London. No more safety nets for anyone but me. As we finished dinner, the manager approached our table. Sorry to interrupt, but aren't you the woman from that cruise video? My daughter showed me. No, I said firmly. That's not my story anymore. Later that night, alone in my empty apartment, I opened my new journal, a gift from Talia. On the first page I wrote, they taught me love was a debt to be repaid, but now I pay nothing I don't owe. My phone buzzed one last time, a text from Dad. I know you won't respond, just wanted to say, fly high, Eleanor, be free. I didn't reply. Instead, I packed the phone away and looked around at the boxes labeled London. Tomorrow, I'd board a plane and leave behind the weight of false loyalty. Leave behind the daughter they'd trained me to be. The piggy bank sat on the windowsill, catching moonlight. I picked it up, feeling its familiar weight. Inside, there was still the first dollar Dad helped me save, back when he was still teaching me to value myself. I took out the dollar and left the bank behind. Some lessons we keep, others we leave where they fell. Outside, the night was clear and full of stars. Somewhere across the ocean, a new life waited. One where I wasn't anyone's safety net but my own. One where I could finally see what Eleanor looked like without the weight of the Cooper family name. It looked a lot like freedom.